understand why you need to be validated, why you need that validation. Is it the fear of being left back? Is it because you feel that you've been rejected? Once you have that understanding of the feeling that is stimulated, then you can let go easily, because you'll say, okay, I haven't been left back. I'm okay. I'm doing my job. All right. And then you can let go and pass by and move on. Marhaba, and how's it going, everyone? For those who are new to the show, this is Yuwab, a space dedicated to have answers to calm your mind, empowering your workplace, and trust me, eventually, it will leave you in a great state of mind to unlock your full potential. I'm your host, Saeed Alghafri, and let me just express how grateful I am for having you here and you allocating the time to hear me out. Today I want to do something new. This is just a new segment, and I'm going to give it a try and see how it goes. My LinkedIn profile has been extremely overwhelming after I launched my podcast. And really, the people are feeling my content. And I see that even in Apple Podcast. And for that, although this was part of my plan later, but I brought it forward. So I said, you know what? Let me just dedicate a full episode to answer your questions. How cool is that? Now, let me tell you what I'm going to do in the future. I'm going to post in LinkedIn, or even if you want, you can ask your questions here on YouTube. But mainly it will be in LinkedIn, where it's going to be a dedicated post. And then I'm going to stimulate that you ask questions, and I'm going to pick 3 and then answer those for you. But what I did this time is I looked at my previous posts, because I get a lot of questions and queries. And also I looked at my direct messages, and I picked 3 questions, and I will try my level best to basically answer them today. All right? Okay. So the first question is, how can you lead yourself before leading others? Honestly, it's just a beautiful question. And, before I answer the question is, think this way. If you lead better, what will happen? The environment you're in, it will be positive, and then it will have a really great impact on yourself and on the employees you work. And naturally, the outcome would be better. The performance will be good as well. Now, what will happen also after work, the impact will be amazing. That person will go home or will go with his friends or whoever, and they're just going to enjoy their life. When you basically have a negative lead or leader, what will happen? It's just the opposite of what I said. And just look at my face. It's not good. So naturally, we want to stimulate and cultivate positive leadership. And let me just now answer the question is, I remember I read a book one time, which is called Why Should Anyone Be Led by You? And the answer is, in a summary, and if you want to read the book, I'll leave it to you, but it was all about empathy and emotional intelligence. I remember when I read that book in the beginning, it was not an easy take on me. I could not even understand what it means until I deepened my knowledge about empathy. Now, what I'd like you to do here is ask yourself this question. If you're the leader now, put yourself in the shoes of your people. How do you like to be treated? Ask that question. Once you do that, then list down all the stuff that you would like your leader to have, which is you in this case. So it could be like, I want my leader to be resilient. I want him to be strategic. I want him to be much more clear. The clarity level is so high. And I want to grow. I want to have a balance between work and life. Once you list these qualities down, next to it, write what is really stopping you not to do it. Now, you know how you want to be treated and what is really stopping you not to do it or aspire that quality. All right? Now, what you should do is when you know the why you cannot do it, then you can write how could you basically cultivate, how can you overcome that? And then naturally is you're going to answer your question, which is you're going to be able to lead yourself and then you're going to lead people better. And that's what you're aspiring to have. Let's take an example. You want to be resilient. All right? And when you say, I want to be resilient, what is stopping you not to be resilient? You're stressed. Why are you stressed? It could be for different situations. You have a lot of responsibilities. You're overwhelmed. Maybe there's something else happening in your life. Once you list the cause, then you know exactly how to overcome that. All right? So it's very important to take it this way. Take the clarity, for example, versus you're not clear. Why are you not clear? It could be because your vision is not clear or your purpose, or you don't have a strategy in place. Imagine you lead people with no strategy and vision. They're just going to be confused and not clear. So you need to basically have that. Now, let's take a further example. Present. Let's say like you basically want to be present, and then what's stopping you not to do it is you're so excited. And you know, I talked about excitement a lot, because once you know yourself and once you cultivate self-awareness, then you would know how to react in situations when you're excitable. And then you're going to be much more present. And think of your values. I spoke about values a lot because this is what you need when you go into difficult situations. It's what dictates your personality. And ask people, why am I excited? They will tell you. And again, my favorite is journal about it as much as possible. All right? So that's the first question. It's all about empathy and how can you cultivate that. And as I mentioned, list down the stuff that you want your manager to have, which is basically you. And then how can you basically what's the opposite of that? What's really stopping you not to do it? And then have the why. And then you're going to have the solutions to how to overcome that. All right? Great question. The second question is how to lead with my heart and not just strategy. Let me start with this. Making a strategy is the easiest thing, in my opinion. It's difficult, but it's the easiest thing. It's basically a desktop exercise, workshop, people are excited. And then you have a plan. Most of the time, people fail because the execution is very difficult. Very difficult. And when you have a plan or a strategy, an execution, you need to have a solid change management. Now, when you have that, you really cannot separate running a strategy, right, and having a heart, which is dealing with people. Why is that? Because when you have a plan, it did not factor in mind people. Maybe it did, but not to the extent it is in reality now. So when you add the people element, what happens? It becomes very difficult. Very difficult. It's not easy. And let's say you say, I'm going to do it in 12 months. If you don't have a proper change management around people, it's really not going to work. So the key here is, how can you bring people together? And that's how strategies work. And again, it's all about being empathic, not anything else. Empathy really rolls when it comes to this. Now, let me also add some few elements to incorporate when you do that. The first thing is, make people a priority over plans. So what I mean by that is, have plans, but people come first. Listen to them. Know their capabilities. Because, you have a plan, you have a strategy, but if you are not very close to your team, maybe you're not gonna gauge what skill you need and capability. And it's very important to develop that. So the key here is to be more present. The second one is, I always say it, we are all human beings. It's okay to make a mistake. And that's where your heart becomes much more floating compared to being much more process driven. And you need to demonstrate that. All right? Again, I'm not really encouraging that you become much more thoughtful with people and you ignore the strategy and the plans. I'm not saying that. But again, for me, mistakes are for you to learn. They're basically opportunities for you to learn and grow quick. Because, sometimes it's important to be quick, depends on the business environment that you're in, because it's really demanding. The third one is connect with people. Have meetings with them, not necessarily meetings formal, but also informal. When you say, hi, how's it going? Before you start a meeting or engage with someone, how's your family doing? You know what happens? It opens up that, it breaks up the ice, more or less. And then you're going to be able to connect much more closer with that person. You see how always heart rules when it comes to doing a strategy. The fourth element here is people love stories. I love stories. When I was younger and at that time someone was telling us stories about airplanes and forests, I remember him very well. I was like, what is he talking about? But again, people relate to stories. They're amazing and they really motivate people. And they're easy for people to absorb. So include a lot of them and try to blend it with why it's important for people. Really, why is that important for people? Because once you do that, then they're going to be part of the strategy. And you want that. You really want that. And when that happens, they're just going to give you more. And they're just going to belong. And you want that. You want people to belong and you want to bound. You want to bind with people. And then when you do that, try to celebrate milestones. Now, sometimes celebration, when it's excessive, it's not good. When it's forced, it's not good. But when you do a milestone, a tough one, especially in the beginning, because the start is always tough, celebrate that, cheer up. And you don't need to do a fancy party or a celebration. Maybe bring everyone and say, good job, have a coffee, do something, even very simple. It has magical impact on people. Yeah? So that's how heart wins over strategy when you have a strategy or plan in place. All right? So I hope I answered your question. Beautiful question, actually. The third question is, how can you let go of constant validation or letting go of the need of constant validation? Some people cannot function in their life if they're not recognized, I would say. Let me tell you something. When I think about that, this is so deep for me, to be honest with you. Because when I did my self-awareness, recognition was so high for me, even up the roof. And when I'm not present, it really pulls me down. Seriously, because I need that validation. I need to be recognized. It's not like someone coming and telling me, thank you, good job. But even if when I'm left back, let's say there is a strategic project, and I'm expecting that this project is given to me. This is also recognition or the need for validation, I would say. It's coming to you, but it's not coming to you. So then it pulls you down. You're not really motivated. And naturally, what will happen? You're just going to doubt yourself that? Why are they not picking me? Am I not really good enough for this? And you're going to have all these negative thoughts. You know what happens when that happens? Imagine you're with your team. You're just going to transfer that negative energy. And honestly, that's not really good. That's not good. Why are you doubting yourself? The question is, ask yourself that. What have you done wrong? You haven't done anything else. It's a project. They haven't given you that. That person did not say thank you, for example. So what's really important here is, and that's my advice, it's tough, but you have to let go. You really need to let go. يا أخي خلاص يا أخي, move on. Move on. Why is that important? Because when you dwell into the doubts, you miss opportunities. And I speak about that a lot. Once you miss opportunities, okay, then you're just going to be left back sometimes because it's an opportunity and you miss it because you've been overthinking. And again, the second thing is the consequence on the people around you and the family is ridiculous. You know, I remember when I was stuck, and I'm very strong on that. And listen, I meditate a lot. You know, I tell you, meditate. But again, although I meditate, you know, it was very difficult for me. So let me tell you what I did. The first thing is, I always tell myself, it's okay to be in this uncertain situation. I learned this very recent, by the way. And things would ease up. And I always tell myself, Saeed, you've been there and there's nothing wrong with you. So this is very important because then you're just going to let go and move on. And you've done that in the past and you've had a lot of achievement. So why be stuck? Why basically be there? Let go. The second thing is, and this is very important, and that's also stimulated from self-awareness, is understand why you need to be validated, why you need that validation. Is it the fear of being left back? Is it because you feel that you've been rejected? Once you have that understanding of the feeling that is stimulated, then you can let go easily because you'll say, okay, I haven't been left back. I'm okay. I'm doing my job. All right. And then you can let go and pass and move on. The third thing that I do is I always trust myself and I never doubt myself because I've been there and I've done it, period. So this is when your ego is very important. Again, not the distractive ego. No, the good one that you've done it in the past. And what I like doing even recently is I journaled all my achievement throughout my career and even before my career. Because when I look back, when I look at these achievements, I always tell myself, wow, Saeed, you've done great, buddy. Yeah, you've done great. There's nothing wrong with you. And the fourth and the last one is focus on the now. Don't really go into that thinking mood because the now you can control. Whatever happened in the past happened. If they gave that project to someone else, it happened. You cannot change it or you cannot undo it. You can if you want, but why? So be in the moment and control it now. Because what will happen is you're just going to miss more opportunities that are coming to your way. Very powerful question, I could say, because most of us wants that validation in our life. And it's good to let go and be in the moment and look at other opportunities that you can focus on. I like this question a lot. So I really hope that you like this new segment. And I'm going to try to do it very often. But again, I don't want to basically leave my topics aside, but this is something that I will keep doing. Maybe every 10 episodes, I will collect a couple questions, and then I'm going to answer those for you because I really care about spreading awareness and improving your well-being as much as possible. All right. So until next time, thanks for being with me. And really, please take care of yourself and those who you care about. And if you find this episode so good, please like and share as much as you can. And also subscribe to my channels. You can find me on YouTube, Apple Podcast, and Spotify for now. مع السلامة.